learned from them means welcome and come with purpose. And today's purpose is mine. This exhibition, Glimpse of Another Universe. And you know what? I'm very excited to see Joel Gallery set up like this, with this separation. It's so exciting and innovative, and it's just a joy to be part of. Oh dear. More than that, I'm excited to be here for this historic moment when you launch your new art movement. I just find that incredibly thrilling. Shortly I'll hand over to Michael and he can take you through it, but first a few words of introduction from me. I'm Catherine Curtin. I'm the chair of the Co-operative which runs Louis Joel, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this beautiful space. And I'm joined here by our new board member, Rima Hewell, here, taking some photos for us. And firstly, on behalf of the board, I would like to thank our staff member, Zoe Jones, whose role it is to curate and organise the exhibitions here. Very glad to welcome you all. Have we got any first timers here? People who have never been to the Joel Gallery and the Louis Joel Arts? Oh, that's great. Look at this. Great. Very glad to welcome you here. And for those of you who have not been here before, we are a cooperative and we're a membership-based organisation that owns this building and runs this building. So if you're a lover of the arts and an admirer of this vibrant art space, please consider joining as a member and help us to demonstrate to the local council and state government that there are many people who love and enjoy the arts and love connecting with them at the Louis Joel. We've got paper membership forms out on the counter, and we have a special membership arrangement where when you join you get this tote bag, and there is, you were talking about that is one of our artists produced that visual of the building. Here at the Louis Joel we have pledged to be allies of First Nations people, and we acknowledge them as the first custodians of this land on which we live, work and play, and we acknowledge their cultural tradition played a big part in their presence here over 40,000 years, a presence and culture that was severely and catastrophically disrupted by colonisation. And we look forward to this new period of treaty and truth-telling as heralded by the passage of the legislation in the Victorian Parliament this week. I hope you all noticed that. First state to enter into a treaty. At the Louis Joel, we are so privileged to host exhibitions of the calibre that we do. We have such a wealth of talented artists wanting to exhibit here, and we're grateful to all of them for sharing themselves with the community. And like all the artists who exhibit here, Michael stands out for his personal journey, the journey which brought him to this day. And it's a journey, I'm just going to give you a few quick notes, and please take it up with Michael, he'd love to tell you all about it. It's a journey which involved experiencing the pleasure of art as a child in Poland, using his mother's art materials, while also suffering from losing her at a young age. Then the upheaval of immigrating to Australia, contrasted with the opportunity he had to work with artists in residence at Hallam Secondary College, where he studied art in year 11 and 12, which was profoundly influential to him. And, you know, that's a great opportunity to work with artists in residence at high schools, which we all our artists had that opportunity. Then he had a break from art to pursue a more practical career, which we often see for artists. And Michael's practical career was as an IT professional. And he worked at that for 20 years. But after the lockdowns of COVID took their toll, as they did for all of us, inducing, as we thought, loneliness caused by lack of connection, something we can all relate to, right? Michael went in search of art again, and he joined a basic art class at the Glen Ira Community Centre. But picking up the paintbrush again reminded Michael of his mother, who had died when he was a child, and triggered feelings of emotional loss. This in turn led to art therapy, which set Michael on a voyage of discovery through research and investigation, through the history of art and art movements, and connecting with what he found inspiring and grounding, and bringing him back to himself to enjoy the awe and wonder of the world. I don't know if I've done justice to you, Michael, as your journey as an artist and what I've said, but Michael had the chance to set the record straight with you when he talks in a minute. I just want to ask what are we going to notice in Michael's exhibition today? I wonder if we will see in his use of light and colour and reflective surfaces that he started developing his style from Impressionism? Or will we only see his movement towards abstraction? What trace will we see from his research into nature and the universe? Pick up towards art movements is the blend of experimentation with technical precision, an extension of his 20-year career in IT and electronics. Well, I'd like to hand over to Michael to tell us more. Thank you. Please welcome Michael.
Thank you very much, Catherine. That's a really good introduction. I'm just going to bring my notes. So I'd like to welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. I'd like to thank Catherine for that wonderful introduction, and I'd like to acknowledge the Joel Gallery, as well as Melbourne Studio of Art, which a teacher out there that stands out, who also teaches here in Louis Joel Gallery and Community Centre. Her name is Ilona Perena. She's been very helpful in developing my art practice, the experimentation that you see in this exhibit, but also wanted to thank my friends and other supporters of my art practice. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed the exhibit. So my personal why. My name is Michal Plis. As Catherine mentioned, my mother, her name was Renata. She was a visual artist and explorer, and she sort of inspired me from a distance. And that inspiration led me onto a long search for a new visual language. Today I'll introduce what I've found. I'm going to do a quick reveal, and then I'll talk about this new art movement. So I'm just going to let you hold that for a second.
Sure.
Bit of dramatic.
That is exciting. Thank you.
So, just a little speech about this movement I've created. It was, as Catherine mentioned, it was sort of, I wasn't happy with everything else that's been done. Example is Cubism, with Picasso and other artists that participated in the early 20th century. Roundism is very much something opposite to Cubism, but in its own right. So what is Roundism? It's an art movement with some principles, like any art movement. It's a search for a sort of perfection, but in an imperfect world. Please come in. There's plenty of space. You're welcome to gather around.
Thank you.
There's some seating as well if you need to sit down, whatever works for everyone. So it's a search for perfection, a completely round, edgeless forms. That's the sort of main theme about Roundism. So very much the opposite of Cubism, where it's squares, industrial, sort of breaking, the world apart into pieces. This is more a little different. So I'll just explain how this works, and hopefully it makes sense. So some of the principles or rules or guidelines for artists is that it permits the use of these forms, such as dots, circles, rings, or spheres. So very much opposite to Cubism. What it's not is doesn't allow for straight lines, rectangles, or even ovals. Because the ovals trace from that perfect round path, or the round forms that we're trying to use as a set of rules for the art movement. So you can't mix round and non-round forms, which often a lot of artists have done using different forms, but I'm trying to develop a movement that allows for a sort of a more refined rule set. Why that's the case? There's a lot more information you can read up on using this QR code and jump on this website here down the bottom. And that explains in more detail. But for the speech, I'll have to sit here for a couple of hours explaining, so I'll keep working. Why did I put these rules together? Well, the search was for some higher coherence, so very much the opposite of intruductory, where it's breaking things apart and breaking it into elements. It's a search for, in a way, unity or harmony across artists' works and across all the artists. It orders even the most chaotic subject matter. So you'll see some pieces, for example, the micro chaos. It looks chaotic, but there's some sort of an order to it. So that's an interesting example of this experiment. The historical search, artists have been sort of touching on this idea for over a century, since the beginning of abstraction. And I'd like to recognise that Australian Aboriginal art uses dots, among other things, and circles, but a very important difference is Aboriginal art uses storytelling in a certain arrangement, and that has to be respected. So I made sure that this art movement does not in any way affect that. That's their art practice. I even had a chance when I lived in Mentone to visit a local family that has a gallery, an Aboriginal gallery. I had a good chat with the father of the family, and explained that dots and circles are part of different tribes in Australia, but not every tribe uses those aspects. It's just a very famous part of it. But particularly Roundism restricts and focuses more on the artistic possibilities. Also, some of the famous artists you might have heard, the exhibition summer. We learn from each other. Also, the earliest abstract artist called Hilma Clint, she pioneered some of those abstract circles around 1906. Then a few years later came Vasily Kandinsky. Probably might have, I think he might have been exhibited here in Melbourne recently. Oh no, in Sydney. So he
certainly not here.
Maybe we'll see Kandinsky here one day.
You invite me.
So one example of his work was several circles. So I think they must have refined what Hilma Clint did, which apparently she had some sort of a meeting between that time. Okay, the next step, so they over the century they touched it, but they often mixed forms, so ovals, lines, all sorts of things. And Roundism is sort of a commitment to only the round, the search for that round. The secular visual language, but sort of there is connection, like early connections with religious or historical attachments, but it's up to each artist. This is purely secular art movement. Just a little interesting anecdote about Roundism, about Leonardo da Vinci, who I really love. His work, his practice, and he was often misunderstood. And in fact, he has a connection to Roundism in some way. The Pope asked Leonardo for a work sample for a competition. His response, he drew a perfect freehand circle. and he said, this is my submission. He won the commission, of course. Why? Well, I think it showed the pinnacle of an artistic skill to be able to freely draw a perfect circle. I've tried. I think it'll take me some time to learn, but that's the search. Now, onto the exhibition itself, and there's a statement that we've just revealed, so have a chance to have a look, have a read. So I'll just briefly explain the exhibit, just the theme of it, and hope you enjoy the rest of the time. So the exhibition philosophy is that my interpretation of an imaginary abstract universe is in this exhibition. So I wanted to completely get away from reality, which is, if you look at the news, it's sometimes negative. But this this abstract sort of universe I've created, it's meant to, there's many artists that have done that, created sort of imaginary worlds, and that's just opens up whole other possibilities for creativity. And I've built this around using this art movement, so you'll see very much those principles in the works. Now, about the theme of this exhibit, you'll notice very distinctly red, yellow, and blue in the exhibit throughout. So you've got, especially in the dark room, just illuminated with some lighting. You'll see the yellow, which represents Kanda. That's the name I've put for this yellow force, this imaginary force. And this force, it sort of gives you this energy, and it just represents that sculpting with light. And often Picasso, actually, he started looking into sculpting with light using torches. I don't know if you've ever seen his photography with trying to paint mid-air with photos. Then the red, you see themes of red, or the sinners, and this sort of force represents, this imaginary force represents bodily danger, but also at the same time juxtaposition spent passion. Then the third force that I've represented in this exhibit is the blue. The force of deep calm, spacey, underwater feelings. There's more explanation on the statement there. Now, the emanation works across the back walls behind you. This sort of the monoprints, this represents the sort of kind of reflections of these forces. So it's very much abstract, and that's all I can say about that. And there's some pieces on the right wall inside the dark room called micro series, and these sort of there's the title. One of them is called micro order, shows the order and then juxtaposition with the chaos. So the microscopic has always interested me, and I'm trying to represent that in an abstract way. So the main theme, there's also the main theme of coherence, many phases of coherence. Sometimes when we see this order, we don't see any sort of coherence around that. And that's another theme in this exhibition, is that sort of search for that coherence across all the pieces you see. Now, just to finish up, I'd like to invite any artists present, and also this poster invites other artists to get in touch with me to learn about the art movement, and if they'd like to make some artworks using those ideas, I'm more than happy to work with them and help them in their practice. Now, in conclusion, I'd like to invite you to explore this exhibit, now that you know the theme and what it means. And of course, you're very welcome to purchase my art. You can see Zoe with red hair at the back. She might be sitting at the counter in the front or roaming around. if you like a piece as a gift for someone or for yourself as a collector, feel free to get in touch with Zoe. And also, finally, I'd like to thank everyone for coming, and I hope you enjoyed the exhibit. Thank you.
To mention one other special event that's associated with this exhibition.
Yes, thank you for the reminder. There's an events sign just next to that gentleman at the door, just behind this closed door, listing some of the events. So every Sunday, including tomorrow, I'll be sitting here from 11 till 2 o'clock. If you'd like to ask any questions or invite others to speak with me, feel free. And also on the 29th of November, Saturday, at 8:30 p.m., which is apparently the civil twilight, where it gets dark, I'll be doing a walkthrough with lights off to show some of the extra effects in the artworks and sort of talk a bit about the inspiration. So you're welcome to come, and there'll be some refreshments as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Congratulations, Michael.
Enjoy.
Welcome to the exhibition. Welcome to the launch of Glimpse of Another Universe. The gallery is buzzing. Michael's official speech has been done. If you would want to shop for any of the artworks, visit michalplis.com. That's MICHALPLIS.com. Yeah. Yeah, all good. Okay, we'll start a tour of the exhibition. So we'll begin with this first sculpture. So this is called the Gateway. It's made out of limestone.
Charles Michael. But they use Michael, but it's Michael.
What fields is from?
This is funny history actually. It seems to have some Hasidic Jewish origins from Europe. I looked it up because there's a website that tries to defend the family. But apparently some families in Europe after hundreds of a couple of hundred years they kind of shed their identity.
So it could have been a longer name. Yes.
Oh, I think it's quite short, but they shed their identity to be such for safety.
So where were you born?
So my great-grandfather comes from
Before we move to the second one, this is the second piece.
You might find My kids did it for my birthday. They gave
This one is called the Armilia Fields, and it's made out of synthetic polymer resin, zinc, steel, aluminium, and recycled materials.
It's like a Scandinavian, considered Jewish
Scandinavian.
It's a weird history that I'd like to explore a lot more.
It's a whole rabbit hole. You can disappear now. Anyway, we'll have a look around and we'll come back.
No problem. And then there's the second part. The music working is good.
Good idea.
So the music is original music that I've created. The music to like see connections, sounds.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And the refreshments. Some of it is French and some of it is Italian. So
We went for the
Michael. Bonjour. Sounds Polish. My stepmother's name is Bonjour too, so must be popular.
This is called the incubator. It's made out of steel, zinc, glass, synthetic polymer resin as well.
Seems to be like kind of my name is Michal. This is
This piece is called the light pod. It's made out of primarily glass and resin.
Przyjechałem 94 z ojcem. Ojciec przyjechał tutaj, żeby się żenić ponownie. Był duża zmiana też kultury, big change in culture. Okay with you?
Let's change what we can and we can
This is called Many of One, made with glass, wood, and synthetic polymer resin as well.
Thank you so much for that. Please bring your.
Yeah, she won't be able to come tomorrow, she's not well, but next Sunday.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I was thinking maybe if I could make it, but the weather's not the best.
Remember, these are all for purchase at michalplis.com. michalplis.com.
But I have to grow, so I have to do major repairs. But you notice that the unifying aspect based on this idea of
what I love about the circles and the
rings,
mergers.
dots, scales, no edges, completely round.
We will continue our tour in the black room, and in here is the three forces Michael was talking about in his speech, each indicated by a color. And this is called the candor source, and as you can see, it's made out of synthetic polymer resin and other materials.